here underscores this community's concern about what New York City and the Federal Aviation Administration have done to do what I believe is to diminish your quality of life through malfeasance and distortions of truth. I'm going to discuss why I take that position. The North Shore Marine Transfer Station will endanger all who fly here and all who live here. I'm from Tennessee. I'm not from this area, never had an apartment here, but I spent quite a bit of my life here as head of the agency during the TWA 800 investigation, during the Egypt Air investigation, during the Edison pipeline explosion, during the FedEx accident at Newark. I know this airspace. For 7 years, I had the privilege of serving as head of the nation's premier accident investigation agency, the National Transportation Safety Board. In those years, I personally witnessed the tragedy that follows when people in authority do not learn from the mistakes of the past. I saw the wreckage of ValueJet 592 in the Everglades in Florida, an accident that took the lives of 110 souls, including 2 individuals that had worked for me in the governor's office in Tennessee. And that accident occurred because the FAA failed to address a design flaw that the NTSB had brought to the agency's attention 8 years before. I saw the results in this corridor of numerous railroad collisions that could have been prevented had anti-collision systems been installed. I saw families burned out of their homes because a simple excess flow valve was not installed in the gas service line as had been recommended by the NTSB for over 20 years. And so again, here we are with the FAA permitting the construction of a garbage facility right next to a major airport that everyone knows will attract birds to the area and endanger airlines taking off and landing at LaGuardia. And the worst part here again is the FAA is warned. What better warning should the FAA have had, or the mayor and speaker of the city council, than the miracle on the Hudson? Sadly, since there were no deaths involved, they believe they've gotten away with that particular event, and they're at it again. The FAA now has greased the skids for yet another garbage facility, the East 91st Street Marine Transfer Station. This will be on the other side of the LaGuardia Airport, close enough to attract yet another new army of hungry birds near the runways. And the worst part is, if you draw a straight line between those 2 garbage facilities, it goes right through the LaGuardia Airport. We will not only have 2 bird attracting facilities in violation of FAA regulation, that would be bad enough on their own, but they will now combine to form a new highway aloft, where countless birds are competing with landing and taking off airliners for space as they fly from one garbage facility to the other. I have stated on numerous occasions in my years of public service, this is the first time I have seen the Federal Aviation Administration permit a hazard to aviation where none previously existed. Why has the FAA allowed this to happen? We don't know, and they won't say. We have gone with this group and met with them and presented to them and presented to the Inspector General in Washington, D.C. But the FAA hides behind legal action and says they will not answer any questions. But the person that did ask these questions on behalf of this community in Queens is Ken Pastor. He's an aviation safety man. He was concerned about this project and as a result formed the Friends of LaGuardia Airport in order to oppose this waste transfer station because it is a hazard to aviation safety. make it clear we don't oppose garbage transfer stations. And sure, we all have responsibilities that waste needs to be handled in an efficient manner. But certainly we all should know a waste transfer station does not belong next to an airport, particularly a runway that is one of the busiest runways in the world. Ken Pastor believes someone should stand up to an agency that ignores its own rules without explanation. He has stood up to the mayor because we do not feel that the mayor has been truthful with the citizens. That's the reason that I came from Tennessee to stand with Ken today before the citizens of Queens and state my opinions. My opinions are also expressed by the representatives of the airline industry, including the Airline Pilots Association. 3 of our local representatives, as have already been pointed out, Gary Ackerman, Joseph Crowley, and Carolyn Maloney, also have opposed the building of the transfer station. And recently, as was referenced earlier, we found out the U.S. Department of Transportation's Inspector General agrees with Ken Pastor as well. In a report released just a month ago, the IG criticized the FAA's oversight of the bird strike program. The report echoed what we've been saying for years, and I hope it provides impetus for the public officials to stand up on this matter. Now, where is the Port Authority on this? And dear, I understand I'm late and people have been here a while, but I came all the way from Tennessee. And I want to be sure that you all know how I feel on this matter. Because there are 2 people that can put a stop to this right now. Mayor Bloomberg and Speaker Quinn. And their justifications for the transfer station have been very hard to come by. And they could certainly end this controversy by withdrawing their support of the transfer station and relocating the transfer station. The bottom line is that this garbage facility and the one on the 91st Street should never have been approved. Recounting the twisted path that has led us here reflects everyone's worst nightmares about a bureaucratic process that is not accountable to the people who pay the taxes and who have the public safety responsibility in their hands. Now, I'm going to cover some facts here very quickly so you all have these facts. In 2005, the Federal Aviation Administration issued a determination of presumed hazard because the transfer station would be taller than 48 feet. For reasons all but transparent, the following year, the FAA issued a determination of no hazard, even though the facility would be more than 100 feet high. There was no justification for this decision. In 2006, the FAA said the transfer station was within the runway protection zone. That's important because it shouldn't be there. It's not by regulation able to be there. And that would severely limit what could be done with that property. 2 years later, it issues a new document saying that this facility is no longer in the runway protection zone. When the New York City Council approved the solid waste management plan in 2005, Mayor Bloomberg failed to inform the council about the pending hazard to aviation determination. How could such vital